We have the team from Cold Front Technologies Asia online now. Emilio, JP, Fritz, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Can you hear us, Devin?
Yes, sir. Good
Yes,
afternoon, David.
We got you loud and clear. Thank you very much for joining us today. Cold Front Technologies Asia is a contractor, a local contractor in the Philippines that has installed the first R290 Waterloop system very recently in Subic Bay at a Royal Duty Free store. And today they're going to be presenting us with the case study of that, everything from the installation process to the background of the project, to some key challenges and learnings that that they faced during the project. So Emilio, JP, and Fritz, thanks very much for taking the time, and I want to hand it off to you now. So please go ahead.
Okay. All right, Devin, thank you very much for inviting us to talk to you today, and thank you everyone in the audience for taking the time to listen. As Devin mentioned, my name is Emilio Gonzalez. Our company is called Cold Front Technologies Asia. We are both a commercial and industrial refrigeration and air conditioning company here in the Philippines, installing both primarily in commercial spaces such as supermarkets and industrial spaces like large cold rooms and warehouses. So, allow me to introduce the speakers for today. As I mentioned again, my name is Emilio Gonzalez. I'm the president and CEO of Cold Front Technologies Asia. To my right is JP Cabañas. He is our electrical engineer. He was primarily instrumental for installing the R290 Waterloop system at Royal Duty Free. He was working with the customers to do the layout, electrical plan, mechanical plan to install these. And then online with us today is Fritz Cabañas, who's Fritz Pagaduan, who is our project manager, who was primarily responsible for the installation of the system. So today, I'm going to talk a little bit about the store information, a little bit of background information for folks online, specifically for the people who may not have the opportunity to come to the Philippines or familiar with the geography of the Philippines. I'll talk for about 15 minutes, and then I'll hand it off both to JP and to Fritz to talk more about the technical aspects of installation. And then we'll leave. That'll be about 45 minutes, and then we'll leave approximately about 10, 15 minutes at the end for questions anyone might have. Okay, so before I go into the store information, something I forgot to mention at the very beginning is that this is the first R290 Waterloop installation in the Philippines. And to my knowledge, I believe it is still the only R290 Waterloop installation in the Philippines. Waterloop itself is still relatively novel here. There's been to date, I believe, only 6 installations. We've been fortunate enough to be involved with 5 of those installations. But this is the first one we did, and I believe the first one in the Philippines that actually involves R290. Royal Duty Free Store is a tax-free or a PX store or a duty-free store, I guess is the best way to put it. That's located in Subic Bay Freeport Zone, which is approximately 150 kilometers north of the capital of Manila. It's in a Freeport Zone that used to be part of the US base. We go on to the next page. Brief history of Subic Bay itself. It's been a naval base since the turn of the 20th century. I believe it was first used as a naval base as part of the Spanish colonization of the Philippines. It then turned into, or was converted over to a US naval base at the turn of the century, late 1800s, early 1900s, all the way up to World War II. During the war, it was occupied by the Japanese for approximately 3 years. At the end of the war, 1945, all the way up to 1991, it was taken back by the US and operated as a naval base. I believe it was the largest naval base outside of the United States for the whole time it was in operation. In 1991, during the eruption of Mount Pinatubo, The U.S. transferred ownership of the base back to the Philippine government, which then converted that area to a free-port zone, which it is up to this day. In 1993, Royal Duty Free took over the duty free or the PX store that was run by the U.S. government and made it into a duty free store. Prior to Royal Duty Free's operation of the store, the only way you would get access to the store is if you knew somebody who was in the base that would be able to bring you in. I remember as a child myself, we were fortunate enough to know some people that we were able to get in to get some, if you wanted chocolates, that sort of thing. So even though it was only operated by Royal Duty Free since '93, the store itself has been in operation for about 40, 50 years. If we go on to the next page, we can look a little bit about the layout of the store, the approximate size of the actual store itself, or store one of Royal Duty Free. They have a second store that's more modern, but this is the original store of Royal Duty Free. Encompasses approximately 1,600 square meters. The refrigerated section itself occupies approximately 780 square meters. There's also a cold storage facility in the back that encompasses about 620 square meters. That used to be part of the original Basis PX store as well. Now, if we look at the old layout prior to the renovation of the store itself, you can see it here. There were approximately 20 cabinets or refrigerated and freezer cabinets that were part of the store, which encompassed the 780 square meters. After the renovation of the store itself, the way we did renovation was all wall-mounted stores or all wall-mounted refrigerated units are part of the Waterloop system. The island freezers in the middle are actually plug-in, but are also R290 systems. If you add up the number of units we have here, we actually have 16 units as opposed to the 20 that was the original setup of the store. But because the units are actually larger, the storage facility of the refrigerated units actually has not changed. It's still approximately 780 square meters. Now, next slide is, I have to admit, not my slide. This slide is actually put together by Roy Pineda, who is the AVP of Royal Duty Free. He presented this last year, September 2019, at Atmosphere in Bangkok. Both he and I were invited, lucky enough to be invited by Jan and the team to go and present kind of a case study on the store. So at that point, we were presenting kind of the plans of renovation. Now this is the follow-up in terms of our technical installation process. The store itself is about 26 years old, as I mentioned, in a 50-year-old building that was housed, that was operated by the U.S. government. The refrigerated units itself is approximately 11 to 15, or was approximately 11 to 15 years old. The cold storage facilities itself is 40 years old, which was continuously run from the time it was still a U.S. base. The current refrigeration system is a bit, I'm sorry, not the current, but the previous at this point, refrigeration system was basically plug-in systems. These things had frequent breakdowns due to high pressure, due to the heat emitted by the plug-in systems. Also, there was insufficient air conditioning to deal with the heat emitted by the systems. And there was also high maintenance costs due to the frequent breakdowns that these systems encountered at the store. One of, I guess, peculiarities here in the Philippines is we do have one of the highest energy costs in Southeast Asia, if not the world. As such, air conditioning systems in stores are typically closed at night, which taxes these plug-in systems even more, which causes frequent breakdowns. So why did they decide, or why did Royal Duty Free decide to update the store? Basically, they wanted to find a solution that would address the heat problem that they were encountering. They wanted to eliminate unnecessary expenses with the maintenance and breakdown that a new system would afford. One of the unique properties of the Waterloop system is that the flexibility that it allowed in order to do a layout that they wanted, and as well as affords them the opportunity to change the layout or increase the size if they wanted to do further renovations in the future. A big requirement of the store itself is that this is an operational store. As I said, it was the flagship store. It is the flagship store, and it was imperative for them that they did not that they had zero downtime or very minimal downtime. With the system that we had with Waterloop with R290, we were able to provide them a solution for that. That Fritz and JP will talk to you a little bit more in a bit. Finally, they wanted to support green solutions. Royal Duty Free is part of a larger conglomerate, newsstand stores in the Philippines, which is really known as one of the premium stores here. As part of that image, they also want to be part of not only cutting edge, but also known as being environmentally friendly and as helpful to the community environment as possible. So this was and is very important to them. Also, the demographics of the store is changing. As opposed to the original people or people who are coming in 1993, now their children, millennials, are coming in. As they've looked and seen, for millennials, environmental friendliness is very important. So they wanted to make sure they address the concerns of this new customer base. Finally, they wanted to support their new green initiatives of both their store and their parent company. If you look now at the next page, here you can kind of see the benefits of a Waterloop system as opposed to that of a plug-in system, as there's no heat emitted into the store. Because of the high energy cost, this translates to approximately savings of about $25,000 a year in less cooling needed for the store due to the reduced amount of heat that is eliminated. And then finally, these R290 Waterloop systems are not only very efficient, they are also have inverter systems in them for both the dry cooler, the pumps, as well as the plug-in AHT R290 systems. Because of the efficient nature of these systems, this is a slide that was also presented in Atmosphere. These are calculated numbers, unfortunately. We're still collecting the actual numbers, but we calculated a savings of approximately 43% energy savings compared to their plug-in systems, and approximately 37% energy savings compared to comparable remote systems. Though these savings seem quite high, we actually have real-world data from other installations outside the country that show R290 plug-in systems savings of approximately 40 to 50%. So we feel these numbers are very achievable, and we look forward to showing some of these new numbers, or some of these numbers to you, real-world numbers in a future discussion. With that, I'd like now to turn it over to JP and to Fritz to discuss the technical aspects of our installation.
Good day, everyone. So I'm JP Cabanas, the project engineer and design and estimate engineer for the Waterloop R290 showcase installation in Royal Duty Free in Subic. So first part of the installation process is the preparation of piping materials and tools. We can see here the primary materials and tools needed for the Waterloop and R290 showcase installation. In this project, we integrate the R290 cabinets with the Waterloop system. You can see the gate valve, brass connectors, stainless steel reducers, flexible hose, 304 stainless steel pipes, and the crimping tools for stainless and copper crimping of fittings. Usually, we ordered the stainless steel and accessories from abroad. That's why we need to purchase as soon as the project installation was approved. As per our standard, we use stainless steel rather than PPR or polypropylene random copolymer pipes for our Waterloop installation. This is due to stainless steel is more durable and presentable. Next is the list of equipment. So first, one set 3 fans outdoor dry cooler. One of the major part of the Waterloop system is the dry cooler, which serves as a heat rejection equipment it blows away the heat circulating inside the stainless pipes. We used an 80 kilowatt capacity Gantner gray cooler for this project. Taking into considerations for calculating the capacity is the ambient temperature of 38 degrees Celsius and relative humidity of about 18%. So another major equipment is a set of twin pump. A pump station with 2 units of pump, primarily set to have a continuity of operation if one of the pump had a problem. So we used a set of 1.3 kilowatt each Grundfos brand pump for this project. Then 8 units of R290 upright chiller, which will carry products like beverage, dairy, and produce. The cabinets we used came from Prior, European showcase brand. So 1 unit of R290 glass door freezer, which will carry frozen seafood products, also a Prior showcase brand. Then 7 units of R290 serve-over chiller, which will carry meat, poultry, and dairy products. Also a Prior showcase brand.
Oh, and just forget to add, sorry we didn't catch this earlier, besides, these are the list of equipment for the water system. Besides this, we also have 25 HT plug-in R290 island freezers that were connected. We have some pictures to show you later on.
So the piping layout. So before the project starts, we are required to have an approved construction plan for the installation. We need to have an actual site inspection first prior to making of plans since it is already an operational supermarket. So one of the major plans is the piping layout of the Waterloop system. As you can see, the red lines are the actual pipe run from the pump and gray cooler station to the R290 showcase. So another construction plan is for the revision of electrical system. Since the old units are plug-in type and the outlets are several years in use, we propose a new electrical panel board for the equipment of R290 showcase for the purpose of safety and longevity of operation. So the red lines are the rigid electrical pipes we use from electrical room to the R290 showcase and equipment. Then, so installation of hangers and stainless pipes. So the first part of the installation, or we call it the zone 1 during the planning period, is the installation of hangers and brackets for the Waterloop pipes. Also included is the installation of electrical pipes and pullbacks. The installation for this work are only available during nighttime, since most hangers and brackets are in the selling area of the store. Once the hanger are fixed into position, we then install the stainless pipes, lift the bulbs, secure the pipes in the hangers, and crimp all the fittings. Then install Waterloop piping. So we can see in the picture the secured pipe run of the Waterloop system inside a Royal Duty Free store. So for the installation of pump and gray cooler, I will turn over to Fritz, our project manager.
Hello, everyone. This is Fritz Bernardino Pagaduan, project manager of Coldfront Technologies Asia, and the project manager for this installation in Subic, Royal Duty Free Subic. Installation of pump and dry cooler. This is zone 1 of our proposed project planning. We'll make sure that the installation is done before we proceed to dismantling the old refrigeration cabinets and replace it with R290 Waterloop system. Installation of platform would be conducted. Positioning of pump station and dry cooling and piping is done using our crimping tools and stainless fittings for fast installation. We use stainless pipes because it is highly recommended by our manufacturer, which is Freer, the brand of our equipment, and it is durable for corrosion. Furthermore, the installation of the pump station and the dry cooler must be 100% functional before the system, and the system must be equipped for any installation to prevent high pressure on each cabinets. A plug-and-play installation, of course. The dry cooler is designed to operate to 0 to 80 hertz for the summer seasons. And it is fully engineered based the design and using a variable frequency drive or VFDs. Correspondingly, due to the result of our 4 previous Waterloop projects, we decided to focus on control over the dry cooler operations. The main reason is that the Subic Bay is nearby ocean range with a high humidity. And also, this will achieve the manufacturer's required water entering temperature, which is about 25 to 28 degrees Celsius on a liquid-cooled condensers. Air pressure testing of stainless pipes and connections. By doing this procedure, we'll make sure that there will be no leaks in the systems. We will be using the oxygen-free dry nitrogen to double-check all piping connection for possible leakage. And the next one is charging of water and glycol. This procedure is a 50-50% ratio of mineral water and glycol in the systems. Water turns into steam at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Mixing with ethylene glycol antifreeze with water in a 50-50 ratio increase the boiling point to 223 degrees Fahrenheit. We're using a food-grade glycol with anti-corrosion effects on coppers, stainless steels, and other metals. We use the external pump to charge in the mixture of mineral water and glycol in our system, and we install also air purging systems to remove air bubbles in the system. And the next procedure is testing and commissioning of pumps and dry cooler. As you can see in the picture, on the left side, this is a ground-focused magma twin pump, which is programmed to auto-adapt settings for cut-in and cut-out operations, depending on the needed load demand, with a 12-hour rest intervals on each pump motor. This is a fully inverter pump motor with a variable speed controllers. In the right side of the pictures, you can see the VFDs in the dry cooler. This is also programmed to run about 0 to 80 hertz with a liquid temperature controller with automatic and manual functions in case the VFD failed to run. Another procedures in our installation processes, installation of R290 compressors on Waterloop showcases. Since the project flows a strict time frame, we need to ship the R290 refrigerant cabinets beforehand to be able to set everything on schedule, and we decided to install the compressor with the authority of Freer, the brand manufacturer, and also we requested a 60 hertz compressor due to electrical issue. The cabinets have 3 compressors. Actually, if you can see the cabinets, you can see 3 compressors with 3 separate circuits, especially on a larger capacity like upright chillers and glass door freezers. In self-over equipment, the compressor is only 1, the same as R290 compressors. The controller we use in these systems is Carel MPX Pro controller with 3 electronic valve regulator, and it works as a capacity regulator system for more energy efficient system.
So, Prince, I want to just add here one of the questions we frequently get, and I thought I'd try to answer that now before we move on to the next slide, is how did we know how to do changing of compressors and loading of R290 into these systems, as these are fairly new. So later on in the presentation, we do have a few slides where we share where we did get an opportunity to go to Japan in assistance to NNS for the supermarket trade show, where because of our experience with Waterloop, we were invited by them to go and assist in their installation, along with Freer, who was there and their head of technical design. While we were there, we did get the opportunity to train a little bit with R290 and install these systems first at their factory and then on the trade show floor itself. So together with NNS, we were able to work with them to learn and train with Freer, as well as training that we received from AHT on the island R290 freezers.
Thank you so much, sir. After we install the compressor with a full authority from Freer, we make sure that the system runs smoothly and in good running condition. So we test them beforehand. This is a mandatory procedure done in our warehouse before we deliver it on site. So another procedure is charging of R290 refrigerant. As you can see in the pictures, we have 3 pictures. That one, tools, R290 cylinder, and a glass of water as a comparison. Before charging the R290 refrigerant on the system, we use 2 steps. Number 1 is preparation of basic tools and materials needed for installation, such as oxygen-free dry nitrogen, micron gauge, pins of tools, shut of valves, refrigerant hose and gauge, weighing scale, and especially combustible gas leak detectors, and most of all is vacuum pumps. The second part is the protocol of the mandatory use of personal protective equipment, or PPEs, is a must. The operating pressure follows as standards. 15 to 25 psi, low pressure side, depending on the ambient temperature. Especially in the Philippines, we are on tropical side, tropical countries. And the high pressure side of the system is 220 to 240 psi, which is almost the same with the refrigerant R22, if you are familiar with the refrigerant. Again, 150 grams maximum charge per system is required based of our manufacturer's guidelines. And you can see also on the pictures of R290 5 kilogram tanks cylinder. You can see also a half glass of water, just a little comparison. What is 150 grams looks like in the system. And the next installation process is proper handling of refrigerant. This one, the first is to ensure good ventilation of floor level. Number 2, use only grounded apparatus. Number 3, take measures against electrostatic charge. Number 4, keep safety shoes, anti-static and non-combustible clothes, protective gloves, and eye goggles are to be provided for every persons concerned with maintenance, repair, and recovery. Do not add anything on the refrigeration system except flushing agent, oxygen-free dry nitrogen, refrigerant R290, and refrigeration oil. And the next part will be turned over for Sir JP for the continuation of our installation process.
The dismantling of existing old units and clearing of areas. So the project was divided into zoning periods. Since the store is operational and Royal won't approve a prolonged shutdown that may take days. So first part of every zoning is the dismantling of existing plug-in units and clearing of the same areas where the R290 showcase will be positioned. The process of dismantling must be done quickly after the store closing in the evening.
So let me just add to that a little bit, just to give a little color to kind of the challenges these guys had during this installation. One of the benefits, or I guess the flexibility of the R290 Waterloop system is being able to install it to existing stores. Though that is possible, it's by no means easy. As a matter of fact, it'd probably be much easier for us to install a brand new store than it is to do an existing store due to the limited hours that we're able to operate. So to give you an example, for this installation itself, the store is open to about 8 to 9 o'clock at night, at which time the store inventory clerks would come in, unload the units, and by the time they were done unloading and packing the inventory back into the storage room, approximately about 11 p.m. When they would turn over the units to us, at which point our team would then proceed to dismantle the units, move them out, clean the area, install the new units, get them leveled, as you'll see in a little bit, as well as plug it into the Waterloop system. This all had to be done in approximately 7 hours, so 11 p.m. By 7 a.m., they basically had to be done so that the store clerks could then come back, start restocking the units, and have the unit and the cabinets itself at temperature by the time the store opened around 9:30 in the morning. I would like to say, I wish I could say that we were 100% successful, but this is the first store we did that. I would say our success rate was close to 85–90%, which we're still quite proud and excited about. However, there were some cabinets, particularly the serve-over cabinets, where it did take us a little bit longer due to the difficulty of dismantling and installing the new units. However, the downtime was quite minimal, where perhaps it was just a day or so. So altogether, I think we were quite pleased with the turnaround.
So positioning of Waterloop R290 showcase. So the unit must be already at site during the schedule of the positioning of showcase because of the limited time frame. Every zoning period will include 3 to 4 R290 showcase and must only do 1 whole night to be installed and to be installation. Next, the alignment and connection of common ends. So alignment is important and need to be done right after the positioning of units, since it will be difficult to realign the units when it is already operational. So normally we use laser tools to proper align the showcase. So if you in the picture, the one with the tripod. So also needed during the previous showcase installer. Then the installation of drain line. So usually the drains for a position is floor mounted, but in this project, the drains are exposed or surface mounted at the back of every R290 showcase. A minimal civil and plumbing works are done for this project. Then the fastening of Waterloop connections. Once the R290 showcase was fixed into position, we then connect both the in and the out connections of a heavy-duty flexible hose from the pipe gate valve into the heat exchanger of the showcase. So the main pipe had already with the circulating water and glycol mixture, and these connections must be properly tightened using Teflon plates. Then connection of power supply. So after all mechanical installations, the last part is the electrical connections. We installed standard plugs, new set of wirings, and panel boards with ratings and sizes that complied with the latest Philippine electrical code. Also, right after the electrical works are done, were the testing and commissioning of the R290 showcase. So the produce and dairy showcase before and after pictures. So the old setup is in the left, and the new installed R290 is in the right. So heat and delicate over before and after pictures. The old showcase in the left, and the new R290 showcase also is in the right. The beverage filler before and after pictures. The original showcase is in the left, and the new R290 showcase is in the right. So last one, the meat and poultry filler before and after pictures. So the old units are in the left, and the new R290 showcase is in the right. So temperature and operations monitoring. So before the morning opening of the store, we need to set the R290 showcase into the respective temperature range. As per experience, the average time needed for the showcase to reach the design temp using the R290 system took only 1 to 2 hours, whereas the R404 system may take 3 to 4 hours. Since the showcase is loaded with products right after the testing, a monitoring personnel was on standby to check the overall operation and functionality of the system. Then the positioning of 20 units non-Waterloop R290 plug-in island freezers. So this is only a plug-in type showcase, which is easy to set up and to position. Then for the maintenance of R290 refrigerant system, I will turn over again to Fritz.
Thank you, Sir JP. Maintenance of R290 refrigerant system. The system used a completely hermetic compressor with a 150 grams of R290 refrigerant charge per system. No change oil needed for every preventive maintenance schedule or PMS, which makes it more cost efficient on the client's end. There will be monthly spring cleaning, which is essential in every refrigeration cabinets and is required for sanitation purposes, regardless of the refrigerant use. Electrical retorque is required to prevent loose connection that may cause fire. The system is R290, which is propane-based refrigerant, and it's flammable. Flameless reparation is recommended for the system using crimping tools and copper tube. We already buy crimping tools intended for this repair for a previous problem for this future problem of the stores. So the clients are confident that the repair is only using a crimping tools and no oxyacetylene using in the repair of the R290 refrigerant system. The R290 refrigerant system and the conventional refrigerant system have similar maintenance standards. However, the preparation and maintenance of the R290 refrigerant system requires competitive knowledge of the system to successfully undergo procedures and prevent incidents that may lead to system failure of the equipment. Another maintenance procedure that we done in our system is proper monitoring of glycol in the system. Cleaning of wire strainers at the pump station must be done at least once a year. Quarterly cleaning of dry cooler fins. And then for the next part, the rehabilitation of cold storage. before and after installation. This will turn over to Sir JP for an explanation.
Rehabilitation of cold storage before and after installation features. So as part of our contract for Royal Duty Free was the rehabilitation of their cold storage. So this is a conventional R404 system that was installed several years ago. We installed new equipment and repaired most wall and ceiling panels for each cold storage.
So, JP, I'd like to add a little bit to this as well, just to perhaps answer some questions pertaining to the cold room. As JP said, this was part of a rehabilitation contract that we received from the customer. Logical question that may come up is, why is this not on R290 Waterloop? Is there any technical limitations on why that couldn't be done? The answer to that is no, actually. It's very feasible to add Waterloop R290 cold rooms to and add this to the Subic system. As a matter of fact, as part of the 4 other Waterloop systems we installed, the cold rooms itself were connected to the Waterloop, although they use conventional 404 Freon and not R290. There have been other installations in Europe, particularly by Freon, that have R290 and Waterloop. So there were no limitations from a technical standpoint of why that had to be done. The main reason why we use a conventional Freon system for this is several years prior to us being involved in renovation, some of the back-end equipment, compressor racks, were already changed out by Royal Duty Free. So they're relatively new. So in an effort to save money, they didn't want to completely renovate and change these systems that were still operate fine and operating normally. So they asked that we change the panels that needed to be replaced, but use the conventional R404 rack system on the cold rooms that needed equipment to be changed, and the ones that did not need to be changed, they asked us to renovate and to do some PM work and get those systems moving.
The project timeline. So this is the summary of the installation periods done. So the installation time frame was agreed upon by Coldfront Technologies Asia and Royal Duty Free prior to mobilization and installation. So we have given installation time from 10 p.m. up to 6 a.m. the next morning to every scheduled zoning periods. So Zone 1 was the first part of the installation. So completion of Zone 1 includes the finished pipe circuit, electrical wiring, and operational pump and cooler, which will last up to 160 hours of installation. So the succeeding zone will be scheduled as per whole night of installation. So completion of Zone 2 will include the operational beverage chillers. The completion of Zone 3 will include the operational dairy and produce chiller. The completion of Zone 4 will include the operational meat and food reserve over chiller. Completion of Zone 5 will include the operational deli cheese and cake serve over chiller. So the cold room rehabilitation, Zone A to D, was also installed simultaneously with the Waterloop installation. But due to store adjustment, dismantling process, and also civil works, the total duration of installation takes longer. So 122 days installation.
So the 122 days of installation, just want to highlight a little bit. The flexibility of the Waterloop system, due to the limited amount of civil works that need to be done, is it's much quicker to install and it's much more flexible system. But as you can see, the cold rooms took 122 days. By no means that was, I would say that was all construction. There was also some limitations in times of when we could work due to the requirement that these cold rooms also remain operational. And also the amount of civil work that had to be done. One of the funny things about these cold rooms is that they were part of the U.S. base, so the amount of cement used on, say, the flooring of these cold rooms was meant for wartime operations. So double the thickness of what we're normally used to, and just the amount of work folks had to work to do to be able to take out that cement slab was quite daunting. But part of the limitations, I said, is that they remain operational. So one of the things we had to do was actually rent two reefer vans to move inventory into while rehabilitation was being done for these older units. Another challenge here was we were actually, by the time we were working with the cold rooms or the final stages of the rework of the cold room, it was actually getting into November, which is the high selling season here in the Philippines due to the holidays coming up. If you go down to the next page, you'll be able to see some, we included here some finished pictures of the actual units, Waterloop R290 units. On the left, we have a multi-deck refrigerator for fruits and vegetables. On the right is the serve-overs for seafood and meats. Next page shows you the beverage chillers that were installed. And finally, the AHT R290 plug-in island freezer. So that's basically the installation of Royal Duty Free. We also wanted, as I alluded to earlier, we did get some training in other countries, and we're fortunate enough to assist one of our partners and one of the companies we were honored to help was Nihon Improvement Systems, who came to the Philippines, saw some of our water installations, and when they were putting up their installation for the Japan or Tokyo trade show for supermarkets, they invited us to join them in installing Waterloop systems. So Fritz is going to show you a little bit of the work that we did there in assistance to NNS. But also, besides us helping, we also got the training in terms of the R290. Because of the work and cooperation that we had with NNS, we were also invited back in order to help with the installation of the R290 systems in one of their customer stores. So, Fritz, you want to...
Thank you, sir. The R290 installation outside of the Philippines. You can see on the pictures below in the front of your screen. On the last February 2019, we traveled to Japan and assisted the supermarket trade show exhibit of a local Japanese partner company, Nihon Improvement Systems. It was a challenging undertaking to compete internationally with the Japanese marketplace, but we were able to meet their expectations, even exceeded. They're very impressed with our craftsmanship for the installation and for the exhibit. And you can see on the pictures, together with Sir JP and me and the representative head of the designing team of the Freer, Mr. Gidi Minas. And the right side is the complete engineering team of NNS, Nihon Improvement Systems. Before that, we landed 7 days ahead before the trade exhibit, which gave us an ample time to install all their equipment on their factory in Shiga Prefecture. We did testing, adjustments, and commissioning before the final installation at the Mukahari Mesi. Furthermore, for more other information about the system, the Freer R290 hybrid Waterloop system is said to be suitable for countries with winter climate conditions. It's highly energy savings efficiency rather than the conventional rack system or a plug-in system. Installation is more reliable and efficient for a strict scheduled time frame projects. So you can see the self-over service case, the upright glass door chillers and freezers. You can see also this Gontner dry cooler with pump station inside, so built-in and fixed. And then another slides. This is the installation, actual projects installation for a Metro supermarket in Japan. So on November 2019, I came back to Japan to assist again the Nihon Nitsugen Systems for the installation of AHT R290 plug-in freezers. These freezers are the same with our Royal Duty-Free installations, R290 systems. It includes also dismantling and positioning of new freezers, and it took us only 4 nights successfully handled the 65 units and complete the job while maintaining the quality, which is beneficial to the customers and the clients. So that's it. This is the supermarket and the finished pictures of our installation for 4 nights. So I would like also to thank you on behalf of Coldfront Technologies Asia Incorporated. I would like to thank our producers, organizers, presenters, and attendees for giving me the opportunity to share my field of experience and expertise on the R290 Waterloop system, especially in the Philippines. For future projects and partnership, please feel free to contact us on Coldfront Technologies Asia, where innovation meets solution. Once again, thank you and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, Fritz, and thanks, JP, for presenting the technical aspects. I'd like to also extend my thank you to Devin, to Jan, and everybody in the team for inviting us to present today. Also, would like to thank everybody online who came to listen in. Hopefully, we were able to give you a brief idea of the installation and some of the things we encountered during that installation. We'd like to thank Royal Duty Free for allowing us to share this information with all of you, as well as thank NNS for allowing us to assist them in their installations in Japan, and learning as well from Prior on the R290 systems, and for allowing us to help them with the installations at Metro. And also finally to Metro itself for allowing us to share the pictures with you in terms of the installations in Japan. So thank you very much. I think we're pretty much at the time limit. So Devin, hand it back to you. And we have a few minutes or 10 minutes or so, I think, for questions and answers. So we'll let you lead that.
Fantastic. Thank you very much to the whole team Coldfront. Fantastic presentation, great content. I think everyone will agree with me that sharing such intimate information regarding installation is quite unique from the point of view of contractor and supplier. So thank you very much. I think many have learned a lot. We have about 15 minutes for questions, and there's a lot of questions being asked during your session. So I will just fire on. Please feel free to decide who will be in best position to respond. Most of the questions are of a technical character so far. So I will start with the question regarding the, okay, I will read out the question. We can also push it to the audience. So the question is, in the event there is a gas leakage from the R290 system, does the store have alarm system?
Fritz, do you want to answer that? Or?
Yes, sir. Actually, that's why we explained that the charge is 150 grams. This is minimal amount for the system. It only dissipate in the atmosphere. So one cabinet is composed of 3 major circuits, so 3 compressors divided. So it's a minimal leak. And in terms of an alarm system, the building also, they have also an alarm system for the whole building for the leakage of the refrigerant.
Okay, thank you very much. Next question. Due to the location close to the sea, is corrosion a consideration in design? Is there any water treatment for the closed loop water cooling?
Actually, sir, the water loop is designed as a closed loop. So the moisture, the same, actually the principle is the same with the cooling tower, but this is a closed loop. So no foreign debris, no foreign objects, and no other chemicals except mineral water and glycol. That's why we are using mineral water and glycol. We're not using tap water because of the oxidation inside of the system. So based on our previous project in 2017 up to now, the first Waterloop installation, we didn't add anything in the systems. So we prevent the oxidation insides of the system because of the closed loop design. Based on the history also of the other contractors, our partners in Malaysia, they encountered that problem because they're not using glycol, they're using tap water. So the oxidation, they replace the liquid cold condensers because this is a brace plate design. So that's the problem. So I think from the corrosion, that's why we're using a stainless pipes, and then we're using 50-50 ratio of the mixture of the liquid inside of the system. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let me add real quick a little bit to that. So as Fritz said, moisture is a big concern just all over the Philippines just because of the high humidity here. So as Fritz mentioned, we use aluminum piping, we use mineral water, glycol to ensure no foreign object or scaling happens inside. And then the dry coolers itself, these dry coolers are actually coated something like, they're called bluefin coated. Basically, there's a salt waterproofing that's put onto the dry coolers themselves so that they don't, they basically prevent corrosion of the dry coolers and allow them to last a bit longer.
All right, thank you very much for the clarification. There was 2 more questions about the glycol, but this was answered, I believe now. Next question, how is defrosting done?
Okay, actually the controller is, we programmed that one with RTC, real-time clock. So the defrosting of this system is fully electric defrost. We're using a fully electric defrost. And it's depend on the products that we were programmed. Sometimes 8 hours, 30 minutes, depending on the actual ice buildup of our evaporators.
Thank you very much. We'll dive into the next question. What type of compressor do you use and what is the voltage rating, please?
Actually, the compressor that we use is Embraco R290. And the voltage we're using is 220 AC.
Okay,
220 volts.
Single phase,
AC. Single phase AC
Okay.
motor.
Thank you very much. Next question. For the leak testing of stainless steel pipes, what is the recommended pressure for the testing?
Actually, the Waterloop system runs only at 1.5 bar. So it's about times that one to 14.7 PSI. So it's around 21 degrees, 21 PSI. So the leak testing we done before is over 100 PSI. But the system itself, we have a built-in pressure regulated valves. So when we put that one in exceed amount of pressure, it explodes. That's why we only maximum of 5 bars for the pressure testing of the whole systems. So that's a manufacturer's guideline also. Only 5 bars maximum.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We have a couple more questions, including from the Royal Duty Free shops. The question is, do we need to replace the glycol and water? How often?
Actually, based on our previous projects before, we didn't replace glycol and water as long as no contamination inside, no leaks, or even only the maintenance for this system is the cleaning of the Y strainers. because you cannot flush that one 100%. So only additional. Sometimes we add maybe around 2 gallons for purging of air bubbles in the system.
So,
Thank you very much.
So I wanted to add to that. So basically, since it's a closed loop system, there's no need to change, only as Fritz mentioned, if there's any type of evaporation, we'll maybe have to top up the system. To give you an example or point of comparison, our oldest Waterloop system was 2017, and I don't think we've had to change or add liquid to that system today.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarification. I take the liberty to also display a message from Roy from Royal Duty Free Shops. Hi, Emil. Roy from RDFS here. I just want to say thank you for the introducing to us the R290 Waterloop system. Looking forward to working with your company in more projects in the future. So congratulations on a great feedback from the end user. Next question, rather technical one. What peak condenser water temperature have you seen on site?
Okay.
Australia.
The highest temperature, water temperature from the condenser, it's around 48 degrees Celsius. That's why we designed the VFDs of the dry cooler to make much efficient the operation of our fan motors, because the what do you call this one, the water entering temperature designed by Freon itself is around 25 to 28 degrees, so it's very hard for us dealing on summer times. That's why we design a VFD with automated system using a smart controller with PID mode. So we can reach up to 0 to 80 hertz, but our design is we can work the condenser up to 120 hertz, working on that condition, especially on summertime. So maximum is only 48 for the for the condenser dry cooler. Actually, we're using the dry cooler term in outside. The condenser is the inside of the cabinet. So we're the highest peak of our dry cooler temperature is around 48 degrees only. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excellent. Next question. For your installation of R290, you mentioned you used crimping tools. What brand did you use?
Actually, sir, the brand are used is International, Jabrit, and NovaPress. So the fittings also came from the manufacturer. That's why it's very hard for us to find out in the Philippines. So the supplies is very one of our learning experience here in the Philippines. Very challenging, actually. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. I'm sure there are many suppliers out there receiving your memo right now. Next up, what kind of leak testing has the manufacturer done of the R290 plugin before leaving the factory? Would you comment on that, please? If we don't know, it's fine. We can move on. This is a question to the manufacturer.
I can comment a little bit on that. Let me comment a little. I was fortunate enough to get a chance to go to the Freon factory in Lithuania and see this and to see these units being assembled, as well as to the AHT factory in Japan. In China, to see how the island freezers are installed. So one of the things they do is when they charge the R290 system, they actually overcharge the system. I don't know how much overcharge they put on the system. They put it in a closed room with alarms, and they basically run the units and then see if there's any leakage that occurs. And if they run it for a certain amount of time in that closed environment, and if no alarms trigger, then they call that a pass, and then they move on to disconnect it and basically have it ready for shipment.
Thank you, Emil, very much. Next question, we have a few more minutes. We'll probably cut into the coffee break because I think also these questions are really good. Next up, how do you control the temperature of every cabinet and freezer rooms? Every cabinet and freezer rooms.
Actually, sir, we put the program, each cabinet, we program that one by RTC, so real-time clock. So the temperature of that system is based on the client side, the customers. They give us the temperature requirement for every product. So, and also for the freezers, all cabinets there. So by means of electronic controller, that one, sir.
Thank you. Next
One
question.
of the benefits we saw. Oh, sorry. One of the benefits, or one of the things we saw with R290 is how much more efficient it is than the Freon systems. To give you an example, the freezers, the AHT island freezers, typically the Freon version of these freezers are typically at -21. The R290 systems, when the coldest temperature, we can easily get it to -25, -27 degrees. So much colder. In our experience, we've seen much colder temperatures, which also contributes to food quality and food longevity.
Excellent. I can just add to that in terms of the efficiency. You mentioned your experience with installation in Japan, and we have just happened to interview the end user in Japan. We have just published an article about their installation and the results, 8 months of performance, and they have achieved 40% of energy savings with their R290 plug-in cabinets. So this is a great achievement. I think everyone would agree that 40% energy savings, it's a big deal. So this is another testament to your work and to the potential of the technology that in Japan is still very much underdeveloped. So this is the beginning, not only for Philippines but also for Japan. I'm looking at the time. We have reached our time limit. So Devin, do you have any final question to ask to the team Cold Front before we move into the coffee break?
No, I just want to just make sure to move the slide one more forward, just to make sure that the information for contacting the Cold Front Technologies Asia team is on the screen for everybody to make sure to get in touch. And thank you guys for taking the time. Is very, very, very interesting.
Maybe I can also repeat in this point that the whole technical training workshop is recorded and will be shared with all delegates and people that did not manage to tune in for the live event. So all this well of knowledge will be available for the industry to tap into when looking into the R290 and other installations. So also from our end, on behalf of the Cold Chain Innovation Hub, thank you very much for joining our event today. It was fantastic content, a lot of valuable information shared with the industry. So thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.